Good morning, Santa Barbara Teen Sports listeners. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in every single Tuesday at 9 a.m.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear.
And what's supposed to be your celebration?
So cute. Oh my God. Ew! God, put your hands together. You gotta be kidding me. Again, another year.
Number 4.
Number 4. You always catch me. You always catch me. I go, I'm just thinking we're doing the whole thing. And then, the blessing is for those out there who don't know, if we see a clip or if we have a spot that we really like, we archive it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we're blessed to have like the number 1 producer probably in the global. Okay, we'll just say all globe right here. That's what you got to do.
Worldwide.
The internet, where the Santa Barbara Teen Sports radio show is.
In the world, baby. Mm-hmm. That's it. Put your hands together for Dr. D. Woo! Thank you so much. Man, what a year. Holy cow. I got to say, the show's totally mushroomed into something. It's got a life of its own. It's mushroomed into, we're truly a fundraiser. All right. I mean, I don't even know how it all came about, but it was a complete, collaboration. We've got 17, 18 co-hosts right now. They're all ready to chip in and give whatever they can. They empty out their pockets. Dominique, Hackett, you're here today. You're one of those people. We love you, Dominique Hackett. Woo! Put your hands together.
We're raising awareness of all the things we can do to help our teens.
I tell you, we had such a great this past weekend, but before we get there, I've got to say, we're both looking at each other like, holy cow, she's back! Josie McCoy, put your hands together! You show up for the birthday shows.
That's right. I come for the important ones.
Every single Tuesday. She's the one that came up with that.
I know she is.
And we're still using it.
I know.
It doesn't
I was here before all the other co-hosts were here. I was like the OG of co-hosts. Well, other than Tommy, but...
It's true. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm excited.
School and work.
School and work.
Yeah.
It's a nice little combo I have going.
That's exactly right.
Keeps me busy.
Yeah, you play any ball at all? No time?
No.
Yeah, yoga, nothing. Meditation.
Spinning.
Spinning. We don't want to go about the spinning. Remember?
I can do that.
Yeah.
Can we bring? I think we had the show, but we won't cut and paste that show in about the major injury. You want to talk about it? Well, because you're still blinking extra, but that's okay. You got the extra blinking going on here.
I definitely am slower to responses now than I was previously, but it's slowly coming back after that.
Well, fantastic.
But yeah,
you fell. It was sad. That was scary. You missed the show. You can't be missing a show. You hurt yourself. You fell and went boom on your head.
Did she always remind you of this?
This is not only you, but the trainer who taught that class it's now on the waiver. So when new people come in, it's like
on the waiver. Yeah. Oh my God!
Don't do the Josie McCoy.
Don't pull the Josie McCoy.
That's it. It's got a picture.
Initial here.
Initial here.
Especially during a run that you two just participated in.
Yeah, we did.
Which is having to do with our first segment.
Yes, and I mean, let me tell you, so I got to say, it was, I don't want to say it, Arthritis Walk, they asked KZSB to co-MC the event, and I was blessed enough to be with a real pro, CJ, everybody knows him, and we partnered with KEYT Channel 3, and I can't say enough about CJ. He's just such a professional. It's funny being around somebody who's, in the public in Santa Barbara. Every little kid wanted to have a picture taken with him, and I'm trying to grab kids. Hey, get over here. Like, do you want to take a picture with me? You know what I mean? But I got to say, I had one amazing event. That's why I want to cut into this. Is my favorite segment pretty much of the year. Is I got to talk to you again. First of all, Lois Capps was there, and that was kind of cool. And then I got to talk to you again, Miriam Parsa, and she was the woman that we had. She's that rheumatoid pediatric arthritis doctor that we have here in Santa Barbara, and she's the only one actually that's in the county that we get to that she services here in Santa Barbara.
I googled it,
yeah,
and it's true.
It's true, exactly. She's the only one that shows up on the page. Anyway, I had when I was at our booth, Teen Sports had a booth, and a little I wasn't paying attention. A little girl came up to me, and she looks at me and she asked me for my autograph, and she was the cutest little thing, maybe 6, 7 tops. And I asked her, I said, okay, fine, but I would like her autograph as well. So, and then I asked her, I said, so like, why are you here? And she goes, I'm here to cure arthritis. And I'm like, wow. I said, that's just, I mean, for being 6 or 7, maybe tops. Yeah. So I gave her all the chippy clippies and everything we had, Dr. D. You know, I threw everything that I had because she was the most adorable little girl that I've ever seen. And the thing is when her dad picked her up, I didn't know it until later when I was co-emceeing the ceremonies, is she was one of the kids that they were dedicating the walk to.
Oh, wow.
So it just really killed me. So let's get to that piece. May Chandler.
Yes. Hello.
Hasn't it been crazy today?
It has been.
ADHD, baby.
I've never seen a show like this.
I know. I haven't. It doesn't exist. It's just our show. I like it.
It's exciting.
I know. Do you think I'm a little abrupt? We have like 22 people you have to interview. Okay, you got to go home now. You got to leave now.
Next.
You guys out. Okay, next one's in. How is Walter Barrows? Is he not like the most amazing,
so wonderful,
sweetest human being on the planet? There are so many people like that in this town. That's why I would pay the 1% to live here. Just saying.
1%. But no more. 1%. No more.
Not more than 1%. Definitely. All right. I'm going to let you. You're up now, and you brought somebody, and here she's an angel, and I haven't even met her yet.
I did. I would like to welcome my guest today. Her name is Dr. Miriam Parsa.
Woo! Put your hands together.
Yeah. Put your hands together. She is a board-certified physician in pediatrics and pediatric rheumatology.
Wow.
She is part of the Cottage Children's Hospital, and she is the sole pediatric rheumatologist serving a tri-county area.
Holy cow.
She is an assistant professor of pediatrics at UCLA. She was trained at UCLA for her undergraduate, where she played soccer after having 2 ACL surgeries.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. She attended Albany Medical College for her medical degree and has a master's in public health from Yale University.
Nice.
She did both.
So she can talk.
Yes.
Okay.
A good speaker. See, I've had to kind of work on I can dance, not so much talk.
Oh, yeah.
She did both her residency in pediatrics as well as her fellowship in pediatric rheumatology at UCLA, and I would like to thank her so much for being here today.
Nice. Woo!
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Exciting. Oh, my God. Thank you. Welcome.
Thanks
for being here today. Honestly, anybody that works with kids, you know, God bless you. I don't know how else to say it. That just would be something that's out of my wheel. I could. It's not something that I could do. I'd be messed up. You know, how'd you get involved in it?
Yeah, that's what I hear a lot of people say, but I have to say I went into it because I can help kids.
Right.
And I'm just attracted to, they're fun.
Yeah.
I remember being in medical school and having rounds in the morning, being on pediatric rounds, and I just finished an adult internal medicine rotation. And the adult internal medicine rotation was sad. It was depressing.
Yeah.
And rounds on the pediatric wards, we're pulling kids in carts. We're singing songs. Aww. There's like Mickey Mouse everywhere.
Right.
And
I'd rather
even
be
though they
with
were
Mickey
sick,
Mouse.
Yeah,
I like Mickey Mouse.
It was light. It was, even though they were sick, there was such a great spirit, and just the ability for kids to heal is amazing. They just don't compare.
So, out of all the hats you could be as a doctor, how come you're the only one? Why is that?
Right. So there are only 250 board-certified pediatric rheumatologists in the country.
Wow.
And there was what's so surprising how beautiful Central Coast is, you would imagine that every single subspecialist would be represented in this area.
Right.
But for whatever reason, that didn't exist. So Cottage Hospital enabled me to come up here. And so I serve quite a large area. I go up to Pismo, go down to Ventura. I have a clinic in Santa Barbara. And really it's because training is quite long to become a pediatric rheumatologist, and it's not one of the most money-making entities, so it takes someone who really enjoys the field, which I love what I do every day. So it's totally worth it. And then I got the opportunity to move up here, which has been fantastic. So this has been within the last 6 months.
Hey, Dr. D has given me the swishy sign. That means we're going to take a little birthday break. We will be back with more after these messages.
You're the best around.
Walk, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. Dominique, where else are we?
We are on YouTube. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and my favorite, teensportsradio.com.
Cute. Hey, let's rejoin Dr. Miriam Parsa, pediatric rheumatologist. Yeah, I know May's done a lot with the arthritis walk, and Laura Murphy's a really good friend of mine who's like one of the directors over there. Her daughter had arthritis. I don't know whatever it was, but I coached her at St. Raphael's when she was in 7th and 8th grade, and she's just always had this really unbelievable pain. It would just flare up like in the middle of the game, and it's like, you're taping your ankles, and you just get a feeling that this is something that and it's hard as being like the coach, like maybe get some blood tests or whatever like that, because you don't know. So what is arthritis when it hits a child? Is it a bacteria? Is it like a virus? Like you can't get it. I mean, is it genetic?
Right.
What is it?
It's a good question. So it's a combination of a couple different things. For what we know, individuals that have an autoimmune disease such as psoriatic arthritis or was known as juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, but now has a different name, juvenile idiopathic arthritis. It's essentially a 2-hit process. The first hit is your genetics, which we have no control over. Maybe there's some family history of an autoimmune disease, but a lot of times there's no family history of an autoimmune disease. The second hit, sometimes it's actually you're playing sports in a game and you think you twist your ankle, but it probably was the onset of arthritis, or it's after a viral infection. That would be another second hit. So those two particular kind of perfect storm enables for chronic arthritis to kind of come forth. And again, certain individuals. So we take care. It's actually a lot more common than everyone thinks. It affects 1 in 1,000 kids have a type of chronic arthritis. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
So when you're talking about schools, high schools, large high schools, you have peers that have chronic arthritis that you might not know about. Yet they're able to function as best as possible, thank goodness, because we have quite a number of really excellent medications that have been coming on board in the last 10 to 15 years. Pediatric rheumatology was vastly different 20 years ago because we didn't have these types of medications. And it was quite sad, actually, depressing to take care of these kids 2 years old who they were running around, but now they're crawling again because they have chronic arthritis. But with treatment, they really thrive. And so I have lots of athletes in my practice that I don't dissuade them from participating in activities. I encourage them to participate in regular activity. Really, it's a matter of the type of activity. So I'm not going to encourage gymnastics in someone that has wrist arthritis or a lot of hip or knee arthritis. I'm going to encourage other things that maybe can be modified. So definitely swimming and cycling are the best for, I think, probably all of our bodies. But in particular, those that have arthritis are definitely, it's important to maintain the muscle strength, important to maintain endurance. We know that patients with chronic inflammation can have eventually cardiovascular disease, so staying heart healthy is terribly important, even from this early age.
How much is diet involved in the whole process of treatment?
It depends. So a particular type of chronic arthritis is associated with celiac disease, which has particular antibodies that are associated with it. So diet does have an effect in that particular small group of chronic arthritis patients. I tell every single one of my patients that comes in that a healthy, balanced diet is very important. So this is no breaking news, but I really reiterate that there are anti-inflammatory foods and pro-inflammatory foods. Pro-inflammatory foods being more of the red meats, fried foods, but with moderation. I will never tell a family to totally eliminate that because that's mean talking to kids. You can't have the cake after the birthday party, or you can't go to McDonald's, which is a family tradition. That doesn't make sense. So we just have to kind of balance these recommendations, and I think everything in moderation is really critical. Especially with kids. You don't want to make kids feel any different than they already do, especially when they have a new diagnosis of chronic arthritis. And then I'm going to lay out all these other restrictions. That doesn't really work well. Psychosocially doesn't really work well. So we take things slowly and kind of prioritize things as far as interventions are concerned. But I always talk about diet when I have kids coming in at the get-go.
Right. So blood test is pretty much the thing that you use. I mean, you could tell. Boom, blood test.
It's actually physical exam.
Okay.
So rheumatologists are old school docs, and we don't rely as much on. We absolutely rely on imaging and labs, but really, its foundation is physical exam, a good, thorough musculoskeletal exam. Okay. So all my kids, I say I throw in a free massage because by the end of the visit, I will have checked out all their joints and muscle strengths and whatnot. But it's really fundamentally physical exam, as well as I spend a lot of time talking to my patients and their families because there are certain clues that will tell me that this is indicative of a chronic arthritis versus a chronic sports injury or an unrepaired sports injury. Right. There are certain clues in the history alone. I might not even have to touch the patient. I already have an idea about what's going on with them just by spending some time and asking the right questions.
So where can we contact you? So you pretty much get it from the baby doctors, right?
Right. We get referrals from the community doctors. Right. Actually, the normal order of things is really everyone was getting sent to orthopedic surgery because we have excellent pediatric orthopedic surgeons in the area. But I practice out of Cottage Children's Hospital on De La Vigna. And that's... again, it's going to be probably referrals from the community docs, but I'm happy to answer any questions. Yeah, 805-569-8987 is our office phone number.
Beautiful. And do you have an email address? Or
nope. No? And we're setting up the website. Cottage is setting up the website.
Oh, nice. Okay, so they can find you.
They can find me. And really what I was so happy to hear from Dr. Chandler to get invited was to talk about the arthritis walk that's coming up on April 25th on Saturday. Okay. Because I could not be here without the Arthritis Foundation, because I see these patients that have a new diagnosis of arthritis, and I overwhelm them with information about, is this going to last until adulthood? What are the implications of these high-risk medications? So I rely on the Arthritis Foundation to provide information as well as parental resources and support.
Nice.
So the Arthritis Walk is another good opportunity to get the families together to kind of empathize about what's going on and whatnot.
Team Chandler!
Yep.
Last year,
Team Chandler.
$500. That's right.
Dr. Parsa has a team too.
Dr. Parsa, we'll take any team.
But you could be on my team. Okay. I have a smaller team right now.
All right, that's right. Well, I want to be on the winning team.
We're winning. We're winning.
I am very competitive.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Dr. Parsa.
Thank you so very much.
Hey, we got to get out of here. It's go time. We have a very special segment with Bill Pintard up next. Stay tuned for more after these messages. And this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda. Please tune in
every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. right after the news. This is a whole hour of Santa Barbara teen athletes and all the people and all the beautiful businesses that support those athletes.
With the Foresters leading 5-3 here in the top of the ninth. This crowd here is going to start getting louder with every second. Ferrero away from second. Martin from first, the 2-2. Swing and a miss! He strikes out Seawald, and the Foresters will share the California Collegiate League title with the San Luis Obispo Blues, and the Foresters win it 5-3, and Bill Pintard holds up 2 fists with a gigantic smile on his face.
I don't have to say nothing else. Coach Dane, who's in the house?
Coach Bill Pintard.
Put your hands together. I don't know what to say. Was that good?
That was good.
On the fly.
That was good, and we don't like San Luis Obispo either. I put the biggest smile. I've had a rough day here, and that just put a big smile on my face. So that was awesome.
The announcer said you had 2 fists up, but I would
have had 3 if I had 3 of them. Yeah, I was pumped up because
if you start talking about that, you will be violating HIPAA laws about that third arm that you've got growing out your back.
That's right.
Funny. All right, Coach Dan, you had a question.
I'm just fired up. I'm just fired up from Coach. I'm just fired up for Coach, and we want to talk about Hugs for Cubs.
Sure.
Right. So talk to us a little bit about.
Well, the Hugs for Cubs really started very innocently. we had a young player who was the youngest player on our team, and he was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer called ependymoma. So all the players dedicated their season to him, and he went through the treatments, and he went into a wheelchair and couldn't walk, and so he couldn't participate or anything else, but he was a valuable member of the team. And they all wore a T-shirt with his number on it and his name.
Wow.
So when they would warm up before the game, everybody would see his name, and his name was Eric Pintard. It was my son. And they were in Wichita, Kansas, and they were all warming up before the game, and there was a sports writer there named Bob Lutz, who's been written for the Wichita Eagle, and he's a great baseball writer. He's been around a long time. He saw all these guys warming up, wearing the same number with the same name. He didn't get it. Well, Eric and I, unbeknownst to the team, took a flight out to Wichita. And we rolled up, because he was in the wheelchair, right before the game started. And all the players saw him, stopped warming up, and went over. And he took off his head, and he had bald hair. He had no hair because of the chemo and everything. Right. And they all came up, and they rubbed his head, kind of in the rally dome, like I did to him. And the sports writer was just really moved by it. And then he asked the players what was going on. They explained to him. And Eric was the most inspirational player.
Wow.
Of the tournament. So you fast forward to a year later. The next year, the players wanted to put his initials on the back of the hat, too, with EP19. So the next year, I became the head coach. I was the pitching coach at that time. And I became the head coach. And so Eric was trying to rehab himself and trying to walk. So I was taking him into rehab. And I said, hey, Eric, I got a bunch of phone messages from some players. It was before email and all that other stuff. And they all want to put your initials on the back of the hat. And he says, the heck with that. I'm doing fine. He says, Dad, I wanted to talk to you about this. There is nothing for kids that have cancer right now in Santa Barbara in regards to baseball. They really don't play Little League because of all the issues, medical issues and liability issues. There's really no support groups. I go to a support group. There's no support groups for young people. In fact, we need to do something for other kids. So I went, So I went back to my office and I started just researching some things. And our mascot was a bear at that time. And what's a little bear? A cub. And what's a hug? Love, right? So we came up with the deal, Hugs for Cubs. And then Eric drew a little logo, and that year we put Chris Messier. We're going back in time here. I don't know if you remember that he had leukemia, and everybody had bumper stickers. Well, Chris Messier was our first Hugs for Cubs kid. Wow. And now it's evolved. Every year we have another kid, and we put his initials on the back of the hat. And the interesting thing is, I usually talk to my players about playing hard and executing and all that stuff. Well, 2 years ago, we had two young boys that were battling cancer. And at the last day of the season, one of the fathers came out and said, I don't know what happened, but yesterday, Wyatt and I went to the doctor, and they ran tests. He's cancer-free.
Wow.
And the father was breaking down as he was saying this. So here are the players. They're breaking down as they're talking. And I never thought that I would ever talk to a baseball team about the power of love.
Right.
I've talked to them about a lot of stuff, but never about the power of love. And our players were really moved by it. And there was another young man who subsequently passed away, but it was more due to the after effects of the disease. And he went cancer-free. So both of those kids, both those fathers came out to our group and talked to our players. And it made such an impact on the players. We like to say we make them better players, and we have. We have 40 kids that have played here in Santa Barbara that play in the big leagues, that have played in the big leagues. And so we talk about that. But even those guys that don't play in the big leagues or didn't go on to professional careers, they learned what it was about to give back, and about the power of belief and the power of love. And that is with them all the way. And so even though my son, he passed away years later, But he ran a courageous battle with it. But he was given 3 months to live in like 1996, and he lived a long, long time. And he passed away in 2004, so he got some extra time on that. But it's just a really good lesson for these young guys, and it talks about giving back. And our players, we go to visit them in the hospital here in Santa Barbara. We go bowling at Zoto's. We have a surf day for the kids. We have a fishing day. We go down and see Sosha, who called me today, by the way. My Big Mike, he is an angel, by the way, too, in more ways than one. But we do take those kids down in the Angel game, because I used to work for the Angels. And then last year, the Dodgers got back on the bandwagon. We shamed them into saying, hey, the Angels are doing this. You guys need to do it. Because when they had that previous owner, he didn't do it, but the new ownership does it.
I only know about the Foresters over the last 8 years since I moved here. And your record obviously speaks for itself. The level of consistency, when you have different players coming in every year, it's a different set. You do have some similars for maybe 3 or 4 years because they're juniors, seniors in college. But you manage to... I don't know what it is, the magic that you create for the level of consistency of wins as well as championships. Is that what you attribute it to?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question. I mean, like this year, we'll have 1 returner. Last year, we have 3.
Wow.
And they all talk about the chemistry. And the chemistry, it's nothing I do. It's what they do, and it's about the Hugs for Cubs, and it's about seeing people that are less fortunate. I mean, these guys are studs. They are big, physical, strong athletes that get college scholarships, that go on to get drafted and to play pro ball. And for them to see the other side of things and realize how fortunate they are, it makes them better people. And then there's something, I mean, you can have a guy, and he's really a duck, maybe not well liked on the team, but when our guys see him interact with a kid in the hospital and say, hey, you know what? Erica's really not that bad after all. Look at her interact with those kids.
We know.
But you know what I'm saying? So they'll see that, and then they maybe give the guy another chance.
So it's so much bigger than baseball. I mean, it's so much bigger, and I mean that's what you're saying. You attribute it. You attribute the consistent success because perspective, right? It's more than just.
Yeah, I mean,
and they become
one. They do have a common cause, and then like this year we have Cooper Adams. And he happens to be the cousin of Mike Kenny, who we inducted into the Hall of Fame last week. So there's some lineage.
Yeah.
Lineage. Sorry.
I can't pronounce that.
We have a parliamentary person to your left if you want to know anything about verbiage. Okay?
Well,
HIPAA.
Hey, when I meet people from Great Britain, they just say, what language are you speaking? Because I really butcher names and words all the time. But yeah, I think, and it separates us from any ball club, any summer ball club in America.
Hey. Let's do this. Let's come back for another segment. So everybody get your coffee. All right. Relax. We got one more segment to go. This is Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen, will be back with one more segment with Bill Pintard after these messages.
The pitch grounded to second. Davidson has it. His throw to first, and the Santa Barbara Foresters are the 2012 National Baseball Congress World Series champions as they mob one another on the infield. The Foresters win it 6-2. The most valuable player for the 2012 NBC World Series is Santa Barbara Forester right fielder Zach Fish from Oklahoma State.
We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in every single Tuesday at 9 a.m. right after the news. Coach D, where else are we?
Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. At Teen Sports Radio.
Sweet.
Yes.
All right, I have to say one thing first, and then I want to talk a little bit more about Zach because I kind of know the end around story about good old Zach. So I'm going to let you talk about that. But one thing I got to say to you is I need to thank you so much because both of my boys had the privilege Bill, of coaching bullpen, okay, for the Foresters. And a lot of people don't realize.
Catching bullpen.
Yeah. Well, not, they were out there, John and Joe.
Not coaching. You said
no,
coaching.
catch. Yeah. No, catch. I say coach, I meant catch. And I said coaching, catching. No, they
ain't
coaching.
No,
there's no coaching. That was the mother. I was coaching. Yeah, exactly. No, we were catching. No, they were blessed to be able to catch bullpen. And a lot of people don't realize this. You do so much for all the high schools, Bishop especially, and I know you've done it for all the high schools, but I just got to thank you because that gives a kid such an amazing experience. When you see those little kids out there with the little Forester uniforms on, you're building big dreams. So I just need to thank you, as a parent, to have that experience with both of my boys. Thank you so much. And then the next thing...
I appreciate that. We talk to our coaches about never forgetting about when they were a player and never forgetting about when they were young.
Right.
Because a lot of coaches change when they get into this power thing.
Right.
And we don't. We tell our coaches, we are peers with our players. The only difference is we're older.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we've seen a little more. So we don't air them out in front of teammates. We air them out, and trust me, I can air out the best of them.
Yeah.
But I do in private.
No, I just got to say thank you so much.
Well, they did a good job.
No,
we need them again, and we need them in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. The word's out there. All right, now I don't know if this is appropriate, but I need to hear.
I'll tell you if it's appropriate.
Zach, talk about Zach.
Well,
tell the truth.
They played that clip about Zach Fish, and Zach Fish will get drafted here in a couple weeks.
Okay.
He is at Oklahoma State, and Zach Fish has a lot of power, and he had a good arm. But Zach Fish had a habit of swinging and missing pitches. That's not a good thing if you're a hitter. Okay. So Zach was the MVP. I don't know if the people listening heard that clip, but Zach was the MVP of the World Series. We almost didn't take Zach to Wichita. Zach almost didn't start. Zach was, he couldn't hit a lake if he fell out of a boat. Okay? And he was beating himself up, and he was injured. But then he started coming on at the end of the year, and he was kind of moping, like you would mope if you swing and miss all the time, especially playing baseball. So, but you know what? I just kind of had a little bit of a gut feel, so I took him.
Okay.
And then we played our first game, and I just went, I'm a gut feel coach. I believe in stats and all that stuff, but I said, I'm going to play Fish out there. And so I put Fish in the lineup, and he got a couple knocks, got a couple base hits, and we won. That evening, I got a call from, he is my best friend.
Here we go.
And it's Gary Woods, who coaches for the White Sox, who played at San Marcos High School, signed out of Santa Barbara City College. His number's retired right next to my son's number down there. By the way, City College is having a heck of a year, too. Hats off to Johnny Walker. But anyway, we talked about the game. He says, but what's the matter with you? What are you doing starting Zach Fish? I said, you're not here. I am. Because Gary was on his way, but he had to scout the area code games. I said, and you just leave me alone, buddy, because I'm starting Fish. And like I said, you ain't here, I ain't here, so stick your nose out of my business. And Zach,
you said it just like that.
Yeah. And Zach Fish went on to hit like 400. He hit 2 or 3 tremendous home runs in that tournament. And hit a home run. The ball's still going in the final. It just put the nail in Seattle's coffin, and he was named MVP. So that's a great story.
Gut feel.
Good story.
Gut feel, baby. You got to go with your gut.
That's right, and that's what the 1%'s about, right? Stats give you a little bit of a picture, but the gut feel comes down to a lot of the gut, right?
Yeah, it does. I do pay attention to that, but you go with your gut feeling. It's not always right. And
we have a minute, and it's the 20th of May. So what do we have going? How can we help Hugs for Cubs?
Well, Hugs for Cubs. I tell you what, we are like everybody else. We're a 501c, and we're really struggling. Raising funds like everybody else, and but we take these kids bowling at Zoto's.
Right.
We take them to Dodger games and Angel games. So if you wanted to help us sponsor those, you can call us at 684-0657 or go to SantaBarbaraForesters.org.
Here's the pitch swung on, and this one hit back up the middle. Base hit center field. Around third is Savage. Here's Davis' throw to the plate. It's cut off, and Seattle leads it 1-0. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 pitch. Pulled to deep right center field. This one is way back, and it is off the wall. The Foresters have tied the game on Boswell's double to right center. Here's the 0-2 coming up, and that one bounced up there, and Walker blocks it toward the third base side and throws it into left field, and that's going to allow the run to come in and score. The Studs leading 2-1 with a 3-1 count. The pitch swung on, pulled to third into left field. The base hit. The Foresters have tied the game on Jeremy Montalbano's RBI single. And the pitch on the way. Fastball hit up the middle. Base hit center field. Davis coming up, throwing. Here's the throw to the plate. Kennedy tags him. He's out. He's out. Jalen Davis has just thrown out Connor Savage at the plate. 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th, and runners at first and second. Staying back at first with 2 outs, and Studdard working against Taylor Thompson. The pitch by Thompson swung on and line to deep left field. Back goes Ruiz. Still going back. It is over his head. It's off his glove. Stayback is rounding third. Stayback is coming to the plate. The Foresters lead it 3-2. Cruz at the stretch. The pitch swung on, pulled to second. Stayback's got it. The throw to first. It's over. The Santa Barbara Foresters have won the NBC World Series, and they are dogpiling between the mound and the third base line. Make it 5 for the Foresters here in Wichita.
We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. right after the news. Okay, I'm gonna get lucky here. I got Josie McCoy to my right. All right, where else are we, Josie?
I wrote it down, tattooed it to my wrist, teensportsradio.com, and you can Google that on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and just about anything else you can think of. We probably have.
Yeah! I love that. She just shows up on the birthday show. She knocks it out of the park. Awesome. Hey, I got to ask, I already know what your answer is, Dominique, but we got to hear from, our little one, okay? She's all grown up now. She's a young woman now, but out of all the shows, whether you were here or not, because I know you follow the show, Josie, do you have a favorite?
I really enjoyed that Brandi Rose chick's piece. I loved her singing.
Oh, you and Dominique both. Yeah, put your hands together for Brandi Rose. What I liked most about Brandi Rose is her dedicating that concert. We'll get to that in a second. So let's get to that piece. It's awesome. I got to thank you, and I have a donation for you for your nonprofit as well that I'm going to give you after the show. So thank you, Sloan. So much. And I want to thank you for what you've done, and maybe real quick, take a few minutes for what you did for the beautiful.
Yeah, last month when we recorded, the short show aired the day before Sam Osterhage's, what would have been his birthday last Wednesday. I wasn't able to tap in and see what kind of response we had on all the donations to that scholarship fund for him. That fund will actually go towards kids through the Rock Shop Academy. It will provide specifically to foster youth who want to check out what's going on there with music and learn some instruments and participate in some of the camps. But it's all in the name and remembering of Sam Osterhage, who Brandi actually was involved. What part were you involved in his memorial and benefit?
I threw a benefit concert for him to try and raise money for him and his family because those medical bills were just out of the roof. And I personally knew Sam. He was a great kid. He was always there, always tried to make everyone happy no matter what. Nice. And he was just a big teddy bear. Mm-hmm. So that was really nice. And he really impacted everyone that he met. Nice. So he was a really good kid.
Well, she shall not be forgotten.
He will never be forgotten. No,
definitely. He won't. Fantastic. All right, so future dreams, plans, 5 years from now, where do you want to be?
I want to be touring the world, playing music, doing my thing.
All right.
Go see the world.
When you say that, I mean, I don't have any doubt that you wouldn't put in the efforts that it needs to get there, but do you meditate? Do you have visual, they call them visualization boards?
Yeah.
What kind of things? I know Sloan's all into that.
Vision boards.
Vision boards, yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a Buddhist, but I really believe in those ways of living, and that is something maybe like after high school I wanted to start looking into that. I definitely like to live by that way of life, definitely being grounded and living in the moment that you are in, not always wanting to pressure yourself with the future, just like regrets of the past. Just make sure that you know where you are standing now and just try and gain from here to the next step. Just look to the next step and 2 steps ahead.
Very cool.
Thousands.
I got a question for you. I know your mother supports you and all your efforts, and what do you think she thinks your best song would be? What does she like the best? I was on your website last night. I was listening to all these you're singing, so I got a really good website. So what do you think Mom listens to most?
Originals or
whatever,
or regular? What would that be, Mama?
What do you think? Would
it be Stolen Kisses? Would that be
for original? I like that.
For original, Stolen Kisses, and then
for the cover,
original Stolen Kisses.
Son was talking about.
Oh, Adore You by Miley Cyrus.
Favorite.
Oh, I love that song. I love Miley Cyrus, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
And which is your favorite song to sing? If you could just sing any song, what's your best?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Too many to love, huh?
There's too many. I'm just like one of those people that just loves every type
You know
of
that
style.
song that I know what I play every single morning is Rescue Me. If
Rescue Me.
Okay. I just do. We got 2 minutes left, but with your voice, I mean, if you broke that song down and instead of like manning to a guy and just say to a guide. You know what I mean? Take the guy out and put guide in place of guy. Because you have that raspy, like really beefy voice. And if you spoke to it, like spiritually, or however you want to look, God, whatever Allah, I don't care, Valhalla, whoever you want to sing to, okay? That would be a really good song. Don't you think?
I get told.
Make that happen, Sloan.
I get told Janis Joplin a lot. Every time.
She is like a cross between Etta James, Janice, Adele. I mean, every single thing she sings is just off the chart. And vocally, she has grown. Like, she's owning her voice. She owns her voice.
My nickname at school is Mini Adele. And everyone got mad at me when I wasn't Adele for Halloween.
Oh. So, would you want to rip out? We've got like 1 minute left. Do you want to rip out something to close the show?
Adele?
Yeah.
Adele?
Let's do it.
We could have had it all, rolling in the deep. You had my heart and soul in your hands. But you played it to a beat.
Woo! All right, I got goosey bumpies. Wow, again. Hey, before we wrap up our birthday show, I just got to, again, thank the businesses in Santa Barbara. I got to thank the nonprofits. I have to thank all of our co-hosts, especially have to thank Robert Burrows. Got to thank Dr. D, our producer. I got to give Dr. D a hand right here. Got to thank Les Carroll for giving us this opportunity. Got to thank Wendy McCoy, the owner of the station, that is actually donating this show to the community. And it's turning out, playing big profits. I don't, for those nonprofits. Dominique, you
and we got to
something.
thank every adult that is helping a teen with their homework, so they can get to practice and do athletics. It's so good for kids to be involved in sports. It's just huge. This birthday show, birthdays are really important. I mean, I know sometimes as adults get older, we sort of don't want to count the number, but you can think of it as a solar return. So it's like, wow, we're in a universe. This is the Earth rotating around the sun, and we have gone all the way around the sun. So many lessons have been learned in this year. And Teen Sports Radio is just growing and growing. And I love being involved with this program. Thank you so much for the opportunity to help benefit our community. We get to teach people about good health. We get to teach people about the importance of moving and being involved in competitive sports. And it's just so much fun.
Oh, man. Josie, we got about 1 minute left. You got to say something. You're representing the teens here. No pressure.
Well, it's funny to see where the show's come in the last 4 years. I mean, this originally was a thought that started, I don't know what, in 8th grade for us. And we were like,
we go back, Josie.
One day we're going to have a radio show. And here's the day. I never thought it would come, but here it is.
Well, when I got that opportunity, you were first on the list as far as the first teen female co-host, you and Tommy Eisen. So you guys, you have made way for every other teen that's going to be coming up in the years to come. So thank you. You know I love you.
Yay.
Hey, that's it for the show. God bless Santa Barbara. We'll see you next week. Please tune in and join us next Tuesday at KZSB AM 1290 at 9:06 a.m. when we will go behind the scenes with the local students, athletes, coaches, parents, volunteers, and all other teen sports supporters. This is all brought to you by ePro Insurance Agency, leader in gift planning and wealth preservation since 1983. So please follow along and support our student athletes by reading the Santa Barbara News Press, and then join me with Erica Salda and your team, Dr. Dugan, my co-host, friends, teams, every week on the Santa Barbara News Press radio station.